Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 12:45 a.m. on Sunday, going into Monday, into February 1st. I cannot believe it is already February. It seems crazy that this year is going so fast already. And it is 27 degrees outside. The streets are snow-filled. I'm driving through Zionsville. I was talking to my sponsor on the phone. I'm charging my phone. Is this where I need to turn? This is where I need to turn. And everything is so pretty because of all the snow. Let me adjust this a little bit. I told myself I was gonna lay down for like an hour, and I couldn't fall asleep at first. I laid down from like 11 to 12. I was like, I'm gonna lay down from 11 to 12, and I couldn't fall asleep at first. Boo Radley came up there. Alex gave him this treat that was like this duck rawhide or something. I don't know what it was. It was this big thing, and he'd been carrying it around in his mouth like all evening. And, oh, my windshield wipers. And he just carries, he's so funny. He carries these treats around with him, but like he doesn't want Tucker to have it or eat it or anything, but then he doesn't really eat it. He just like sits and has it in front of him, and then he'll look at it, or he'll flip it around with his nose, or he'll just sit there and lick on it. But he does. So he like came upstairs while I was sleeping, and I said, I looked at him, I said, do you want to get him on the bed? And he just stood there. So I picked him up, but he dropped his treat on the floor when I picked him up. So I put the treat, which was like gooey and soaking wet and gross, onto the bed, and then he sat there and played with it for a couple minutes, and then he jumped down and ran downstairs. He was super hyper tonight. It was so cute. I took them outside. I heated up some of my Maggiano's from last night and ate it and watched Family Feud. Alex came down, and so then afterwards Alex wanted to watch that show Bonding that he's watching. And so he wanted to watch it on the big TV downstairs in the living room. So I was like, you can watch whatever you want. I'm going to go upstairs anyway. But right before then, I took the dogs outside, and Boo Radley like ran everywhere. He was so cute. He was running through the street. He was kind of like sliding around, and he was running through the snow, and it was hilarious. And I just stood there for a minute, and I just like watched him. He was like darting all around, and he came over to Tucker, and he was like barking at Tucker, trying to get Tucker to play, but Tucker really wasn't in the mood to play. And Tucker kept on hiding behind me, and then Boo Radley would just run all over the yard, and then run up to the front, and then run back from down the front. It was so funny. And I just sat there and I looked at him, and I just had this like overwhelming feeling of just like pure joy, just watching this cute pup run all over the place, all this little dog run all over the place. It was the cutest thing. So anyway, I looked at the clock once he went downstairs, and it was 11:20, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to fall asleep now. And I sprayed that lavender eucalyptus stuff on my pillow, and I was like out like that. And the next thing I knew, Alex was coming up the stairs, and I woke up, and I talked to him for a couple minutes, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go vlog, because I wanted to vlog, and then I want to listen to my new book that I'm listening to, which is the Janet Ivanovich book, One for the Money. I started it last night, and I'm almost at halfway through the book. I like it. I was talking to Mel about it today. I called Mel today, and I feel like everybody knows who Mel is by now, but she's my partner in a true crime book club, which, by the way, we're going to have the live stream. We decided we're going to have the live stream for, for Devil's Knot next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We don't want to push it back much farther than that, because the following Sunday is Valentine's Day, and Alex and I have plans that day. So anyway, and I haven't started Devil's Knot. Once I finish this Janet Ivanovich book, I'm gonna start Devil's Knot. So that'll be my first book for February that I read. Well, this will be the first book for February that I finish, but then that'll be the first book for February that I read. But anyway, I was talking to Mel today about One for the Money, and she's like, yeah, it's been a really long time since I read it. And she has Louisiana Longshot by Jana DeLeon, the Misfortune book, the first one. She has it on hold at the library. And I said, if you like Janet Ivanovich, you're going to love the Jana DeLeon books. I said, I almost kind of feel like, because I looked, and the first Jana Ivanovich book came out in 2006. I said, I almost kind of feel like she wrote the outline for all of these kind of books, because it's very similar, actually, to the Misfortune series. The thing is, the Misfortune series is so, rich in characterization and the storyline of the town and everything, that so far, I think I almost like them. I do like them more. But probably just because I know the characters and stuff more, you know? I said I'll have to get a couple books in and to this series, and I'm sure I'll like it as well. My goal is to read and to catch up with all of the Jana Ivanovich books this year, if I like them, plus reading some other series as well. I have to read 2 or 3 books a month from the series, which is, I think I can do that. So anyway, yeah, I like it. It's enjoyable. It's fun. She's has no job, and so she becomes a bounty hunter, and the first one is her kind of getting learning what to do as a bounty hunter, and then her family, or her mom and dad, are in it, and they're hilarious, and it's good. I like it. It's not what I thought it would be. All these years of seeing the Jana Ivanovich books, it's not what I thought it would be. And I wouldn't necessarily call it a cozy mystery, but it fits within that as well, kind of. Less cozy, more mystery, but I like it, and I like the character. So, yeah. Anyway, so I started that last night, and I'll probably finish that tonight. So really, I was telling Mel, I said I was listening to it at 2 times speed, and it was so slow. I could literally hear the spaces in between the sentences. Mel said, we wouldn't want that now, would we? So I moved it up to 2 times 5 speed, and then that was even so slow that I moved it up to 3 times speed. I was like, I can't go any faster than, I can. The fastest you can go is 3 times 5 speed. I have listened to some books on 3 times 5 speed. I don't know how I listen to these books so fast, but I was like, I just can't go any faster than 3 right now, because I really just kind of want to enjoy the book and stuff. But it still seems kind of slow to me at 3 times speed, which is so funny, you know. So I probably am not going to vlog for a really long time tonight. We went to brunch today. Sarah met us there. Had my gluten-free waffle. And then Alex had his Cuban breakfast. Sarah had a Cuban breakfast. Alex also had a bowl of turkey chili. And he took his Cuban breakfast. Did he take his home, or did she take hers home? She took hers home. So that was nice. And then afterwards I came home. And I didn't get my vlog up until late tonight. You guys, almost forgot to get it up. Because, did I actually put it? I hope to God I published it. Because I had it uploading. Well, first I had to render it when I got home, and then I had to upload it. So I didn't get to it till late today. And I need to pull in here and see if I want to make sure I published it. So I finally published it at 10:30 or 11. But anyway, yeah, so I did that. I made a drama video, and then I did a review video, and I did a Peterisms video. I wanted to do my booktube video. I wanted to do the review of the review of Saint X by Alexis Shaken, because that was my book for January. So I wanted to get that done in January, but I just didn't get, it was getting too late, and I was like, okay. At that point, it was 8 something. And I was like, I just need to relax a little bit tonight. So, and actually, I didn't even get done till 9:30 with getting the videos actually finally published and up and stuff like that, because I gotten started late. I relaxed a little bit after brunch when I came home. So, not for very long, but just a little bit. So yeah, that was our day, and we went to the mall for a little bit after brunch, but just for a couple minutes. We were in there for I don't know, a half an hour or so. Just walked around, walked into Saks, and that was it. So, yeah, it was just kind of a lazy day. It kind of flurried all day today. I talked to a lot of people on the phone. Oh, I know what I did. So after brunch, that's what I said I relaxed. I laid down for like 20 minutes, and then I was trying to get a hold of Tanya, and I couldn't get a hold of her. So I went to, I drove by the kennel, and she was just getting done with work. So I took her to go get a fountain pop, and she was tired. She had made chili at home, so they were getting ready to have chili. So I took her to get a fountain pop and some chips, and I actually got this bottle of water. And we drove around for a little bit, not very long though, and then I took her back to her car, and that was that. Where is my phone? I want to check and see. Oh, I'm losing my lip gloss. So I'm gonna put this water over here because I have a Croy too. I drank so much water earlier that I went to the restroom right before I left, and I'm hoping that I don't have to go to the restroom again. Okay, I want to make sure I got these videos up. Let's see. Peter Vlogs. Yeah, I got it up. You guys, I can't find my one reading glasses. I have a feeling they're in this car somewhere, but the ones that I usually bring with me, I cannot find them. Let's see who's commented on the video so far. I can hardly see it. Kit Kat said, I met Josh Groban. Love him and his music. Aw. La Veronice said, I would like a vlog where you talk about self-worth and how to never stop valuing the person you are, asking for a friend. Blue heart. Okay, I can do that. Tiffany gave smiley face plus blue hearts. You guys, I just have to, okay, so there's this like huge door over here that's on that, I'm gonna see if it happens again. There's a, what do you call it in there? Like a dumpster. That door just like flew. Look there, look. That freaked me out. I was like, oh my gosh. It just did it again. Oh my God. Okay. I literally cannot read these names, you guys. Aaron, I think. Oh my God, Peter, I was actually just Googling how to watch RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Well, let me know when you find out. Amy put blue hearts. Cassie said, I buy white cheddar Smart Pop from Walmart. They sell it everywhere. I thought, LOL. I am from the South, and so maybe that's why I don't know. And we say caramel too, LOL. I am so jealous of the snow. Oh my God. Elizabeth said, you will come to love Stephanie Plum. Did I start talking about it last night? Maybe I did. Lauren gave emojis. Summer gave emojis. Amy gave emojis. Kathy said, I have to watch Peter at 1.75 speed or he puts me to sleep. You guys want to know what's so funny is, so when I watch my videos back, like my drama channel videos, I watch them at 2 times speed. And it's like, I'm literally like, right? But like I hear so fast, it's like normal to me at this point. But the other day, like, it was, like I can't watch it at a faster speed until it's uploaded onto video. So I was watching it just as regular speed while it was uploading, and I was like, oh my God, you sound so, like, it's just, I can't listen to you at just regular speed. Corey said, Peter, please read The Guardian. You have had it on your Audible list forever, and I'm dying to hear if you love it as much as I did. Tanya said she didn't like it. That's why I haven't read it yet. La Veronice said, what is the book about? I'm looking for book recommendations. I will listen to it. Brandy said, hello from South Dakota, new watcher, but I am addicted to all of your channels now. It is now my nighttime tradition before bed. Oh, I love that. Aaron said, happy Sunday, Peter. Happy Sunday, Aaron. You guys, this is so bad. I need my reading glasses. Where did I wonder if... Did I take him into the restaurant with me somewhere? You know what? I bet I did. I bet I took him in. I didn't take him into brunch today because I couldn't find him for brunch. You know what? I think it's when I went to dinner with my mother-in-law the other night that I left him at the table. I'm gonna have to call there tomorrow and see if they have them. Open my LaCroix. I'm actually gonna have to make a note of that or I will forget. Do. I mean, it's not like I don't have 3 other pairs, but like they're expensive and I like that pair, and I'm not gonna just, you know, not check in on them. They come in this really colorful pouch, so they would know if they had found them. Self-worth. You know, I think it's an interesting concept. And speaking of concept, this woman I used to work with, she didn't like the term self-esteem. She liked the term self-concept. Because kind of like self-esteem refers to like how high you think of yourself or how low you think of yourself, and like I lost my self-esteem or I gained self-esteem, you know. But self-concept is really like, how do you think of yourself? Like, how do you define yourself? What do you think of yourself and all of that? And what is that car? I like that car. It was like kind of an SUV, but it looked like kind of like a new like Ford or something. Anyway, do you know, self-worth is interesting to me. It's like I was sitting here thinking about what I wanted to say about it. You know, I think I definitely struggled with having any kind of self-worth when I was growing up in public, because put me around other people, I always thought I was less than. I don't know if that makes sense, but because I had people that were constantly putting me down, constantly saying I was less than, constantly, you know, well, at the time I would have said they made me feel like, and I probably still do say this from time to time and whatever, but that they made me feel like I was less than. I'm not a believer in that today. I believe that I choose to feel less than. But the thing that's interesting about that is, like, when I was at home with my mom or my dad, like, even growing up in an alcoholic home, I never felt less than. Like, my mom and my dad always made me feel very loved, very accepted, you know, that I was the most important thing to them. I felt like that from family and from friends of family. By myself, like, if I'm just by myself in my house, you know, I feel like I have a lot of self-worth, you know, like dancing around the house or, you know, whatever. Like, I feel pretty confident about myself. It's really only when I get around other people, and I think it's really a lot to do with having social anxiety and social fear. And I think it's, and which is really a sad comment, isn't it? That I have allowed other people to, like, what people think of me to affect me for so long in my life, you know, which is really sad, because I wouldn't, like, I can remember, like, so I had this boyfriend that I dated back in the day. I've talked about this, I think, sometimes, at times on here, but I was super thin at the time. Like, I was really, really thin, okay? And, like, probably too thin, honestly. I was like 145, which for me is like, emaciated. And we were coming down an escalator. He and his friends we were either coming down or going up an escalator. And he and his friend were standing behind me. And my boyfriend was like, and they were constantly always teasing me. Like, I was always the butt of, like, which is no pun intended. But no, literally, I was, like, always the butt of every joke. And, which I think when you grow up in an environment of being the butt of every joke, like in school, you kind of get used to that after a while. You know, it's almost kind of like it doesn't really bother you, which is sad, I think. But I can remember, like, you know, in a situation like that where all you want is validation from the guy that you like, you know. I was never in love with this guy, but, like, I liked him a lot, you know. And I just wanted him to like me, and I wanted him to find me attractive, and, you know. And I'll never forget, he was always putting me down, and always, like, they would ask me questions they knew I didn't know the answers to make me feel dumb, he and his friends. And I remember he was like, we were on the escalator, and he said, "You are so bottom heavy." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, and I have had, like, in my life, had been made a little bit of fun of for my butt. And he was like, "You're so bottom heavy." To this day, like, it doesn't matter what weight I am. It doesn't matter if I'm 150, 200, 250, it doesn't matter. I still hear that comment all the time. "You're bottom heavy, you're bottom heavy, you're bottom heavy." Like, it really just lodged itself somewhere into my head and stuck. And, like, it's comments like that I heard through the years. You know, and I know a lot of people, like, I have friends of mine whose parents and family members said horrific things to them. And I never had that, thankfully, you know? I don't know what I would have done had I had that. You know, my parents say, you know, not believe in me or say horrific things. I mean, my parents believed in everything. You know, they were always like, "You can do this," and they believed in me, you know, like, "You can achieve anything that you want to." I mean, they just really pushed me, you know, to accomplish anything that I wanted to accomplish. And so I think had I had, you know, parents that were like, "You're dumb, you're stupid, you'll never amount to anything." Like, I have friends of mine that have heard those things. Like, I don't really know how you do get over some of that stuff. I think it's about doing the work to know that that's not true about yourself. But, you know, it's like in the movie Pretty Woman when he says, "You're so beautiful," and she says the bad stuff is easier to believe. When you've heard something long enough, you start to believe it. You know, I was talking about this the other day. I actually think it was like in a pep talk on Cameo, because somebody, like, people order pep talks from me about stuff, and I just give them, you know, like, personal experiences that I've learned in my life and whatever. But somebody asked me, when did I start taking advice from others or, like, listening to other people? And what I said was, you know, that it took a long time for me to realize that my mistakes in life really weren't getting me anywhere except for just being learning experiences. And that what I realized was that, like, my dad wanting to help me, or my mom wanting to give me advice, or, you know, the friends of mine in my life, you know, sober friends of mine, that my sponsors, you know, whatever, from time to time, that they were really wanting me to have the best life possible. So by giving me suggestions and giving me advice, it wasn't a put down, like, "You don't know what you're doing." It was like, "Here, we want to help you. We love you enough that we want to give you really great advice." And so I started realizing that, and I started taking their advice. And when I did, 90% of the time, they were right, and my life improved. Well, likewise, one day I woke up. I mean, it wasn't just like this aha moment, I guess, but it was like, you know, over a period of time, I would say, but not a long period of time. It was like it was a book I was reading or something. I can't remember, but it was like over the period of like a month or 6 weeks. I just kind of had this aha moment of clarity over, you know, a couple weeks where I was like, I kept on asking myself, what do I have to gain by putting myself down so viciously? Like, in my head, that tape that runs in my head that I'm a piece of crap, that tape that runs in my head that I'm not worth anything, that I'm not good enough, that I'll never amount to anything, that tape in my head that tells me I'm less than somebody else because I'm different than somebody else. Like, what good is that doing for me? Like, what am I gaining by telling myself those things? You know what I mean? I'm not gaining anything. I'm suffering. So why am I continuing to do it? You know, it's like, I mean, there's a lot of things that we continue to do that aren't healthy for us. And we know they're not healthy. I mean, I know that my eating habits are horribly unhealthy, right? And yet I continue to do it. And I know that. You know, it's like, there's all kinds of things that we do in this world that are unhealthy for us. But I guess the question is, why do we keep on doing it, you know? I think the reality is, like, you know, like with any of these things, if you want to like talk about being addiction stuff, which I don't know, maybe I don't know how I feel about the idea of, I would have to think about it, like, can we be addicted to low self-worth? But I think, you know, the reason I never stopped before drinking and using drugs was because I always thought I could do it tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow. I can do it. Fear stood in the way of that. What would my life look like without this? And I think with food, it's the same way. I mean, food is such an emotional crutch for me that that's like my happy moment at the end of the day. I mean, it looked like today. It's like I did all this stuff, and then I relaxed at the end of the day, heating up some, you know, pasta from Maggiano's and sitting there watching Family Feud. You know, that's not healthy. You know, it would be healthy if I like made a salad or, you know, avocado toast or something like that, but I don't think that way. My mind's not trained that way. So I think, and if I did it with self-worth, and I guess I could do it with everything else, because I've done it with drugs and alcohol too, but like the thing is, I know I'm not a piece of crap. I'm a very spiritual person. I've talked a lot about that on here. You know, I'm not a religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person, and I know my God does not make junk. I know today that all of those people in my life that have tried to tear me down in the past, it's a lot of their own issues. And I think I didn't really understand that for a long time. You know, when I was like growing up, and I had all these people say really mean things to me when I was growing up as a kid, you know, call it bullying. It wasn't all bullying. It was all just, some of it was teasing. Some of it was just cruelty. You know, I think sometimes we misuse the word bullying. I was bullied as well. But it's just hurtful, painful stuff that made me question my own self-worth. You know, like, if all of these people think that I'm crap, then I must be crap. And then what happened was, it set up this kind of pattern in my life where I sought approval from the person that was least likely to give it to me, when the person that I needed to be seeking the approval from was myself. You know, unfortunately, it took me till... You know what's interesting is, I remember going on my date with Alex, our first date. And I didn't want to go on the date. Like, I had canceled it like twice before, and my friend that lives in Denver, he was like, just go. You'll have a good time. At least you'll make a new friend, you know, and if not, then at least you win. It was a date, whatever, right? Because I thought I was going to move to Denver. So I went, and I remember at the last, I kind of just like ran in the shower and took a shower, and I threw on like a pair of jeans and like a Western shirt and just like some flip-flops or something. I don't usually wear flip-flops anymore, but I used to wear, because I'm so into the Birkenstock sandals now, but the plastic ones. But I just threw on like these flip-flops. It was like in the summer, it was in late August, you know, and I can remember just like feeling completely confident, like not arrogant, not cocky, but just like confident in who I was. Like, I knew like I had a direction. I felt like I was happy in life. I knew what I wanted. I was working out every day. I felt content. I felt rested. I was happy, you know, and that's how I would say I feel now, minus like the physical health part. And I just was very happy. And it was like, for once in my life, I had people that were around me that loved me. I wasn't questioning a lot about myself. I don't know where we're at on time. I wasn't questioning a lot about myself, and I should have known that right when I looked at it, it was right before that. I'm like, cannot hardly see it all. But you know, I stopped kind of like beating myself up, and I don't know what happened around that time. I just kind of was like, I knew I was good enough. And it wasn't an arrogant, cocky thing. It just was kind of like, you don't need to be good enough for anybody but yourself. I think my mom's passing had a lot to do with it too. You know, it was just kind of like, I think I had worked so hard in my life after I got sober with like, you know, looking the right way and having the right stuff and all this kind of stuff. And then my mom died, and I realized it just didn't matter. And, you know, that was stuff that, like, my mom, like, she really played into that a lot. Like, I can remember in the house that I grew up in, like, she would be blasting her music driving, and then she would pull onto that street, and she would say, gotta turn my music down because everybody will get upset. Nobody was getting upset at her for her music being loud. That was her perception, you know, that people were judging her for having her music down. She always had this perception of what people thought of her. And I think that, like, I realized that after my mom died, that, like, I had this perception of what people thought about me, and nobody really cared, you know? And then I realized, well, hell, I only have one life. I might as well live it the way that I want to. And I'm good enough how I am. And not only that, like, I'm pushing parts of myself down that, like, these, you know, wearing the clothes I want to wear and listening to the music I want to wear and going where I want to go. You know what I mean? All the stuff that I wanted to, who I wanted to be, what my soul wanted to speak of, because I was embarrassed of that, I guess, you know? And it's like, and that's where the whole be too much thing comes for me. It's like, be too much. But, like, you know, I love on Oprah, or not on Oprah, on RuPaul, when RuPaul talks about, if you watch it, she always talks to the girls on RuPaul's Drag Race about their inner saboteur and how it's funny because if you watch it a couple years ago, it was the season, I think, that Aquaria was on, is when RuPaul introduced this idea of the inner saboteur, and she had never talked about it before on RuPaul's Drag Race. I know because I've watched every season. I think that was whatever the first season was that they introduced it, and she had them do like some, like the maxi challenge was them doing like showing like who their inner saboteur was, like in a costume. But, like, ever since then, she's talked about it every season to them. And it's interesting because she probably, like, RuPaul probably just learned about, like, your inner saboteur, like, right then and, like, decided to put it in the show. But it's actually a genius idea because your inner saboteur is really who tells you that you're worthless, you know, and that you're not any good and that you're not going to succeed in life. Well, that's low self-worth. So it's really asking yourself about who your inner saboteur is and what you're, you know, it's like, I can remember when I got sober, my counselor said to me, like, you know, every day that you get sober, your sober self is like sitting on your shoulder telling yourself, you can do it. You're going to have the greatest life ever. You can stay sober. You're doing it. I'm so proud of you. While your addict is sitting on your shoulder and your addict is telling you in your head, like, you can have just a drink. You can have just a beer. You can have just a hit off this joint. You know, like, it'll be okay. You can start over tomorrow. Like, that's the addict sitting on your shoulder. Well, I think we equally have, you know, an inner saboteur, like RuPaul says, that, you know, we're constantly fighting against. And that's that voice in our head that's telling us that we're not good enough. But why is that the voice that we believe? Because it's easier to believe what people have told us for so long or what we've chosen to believe than to actually work hard enough and tell ourselves, well, that's BS, we are good enough. You know, it really comes down to this for me. I've only got so many days left on earth. Would I rather spend those days? You know, I said this, like, in this cameo thing, I said, you know, like, we've only got so many days on earth. Like, when you ask yourself, like, would you rather spend those days beating yourself up and telling yourself you're worthless? Or would you rather spend those days lifting yourself up and telling yourself you're wonderful and you're an amazing person? Like, why would we choose the first one? Like, why would we ever choose to just beat ourselves up and tell ourselves that we're horrible. Like, that's crazy, isn't it? Like, isn't that crazy? But yet, so many of us choose that. So many of us do that. And it's like, but why do we do that? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But we do it, nonetheless, you know? I don't know. I don't know why I keep on doing it. But I don't as much as I used to. I've really worked hard on it. I think today, my self-worth comes out like in the forms of me beating myself up about my weight and my physical health, which are serious concerns. Like, they're not just lighthearted concerns, right? I really try not to, you know, this is interesting. So, I would refer to myself in kind of critical terms, like use words that I thought were lighthearted about my weight. And I had somebody reach out to me and email me, and they asked me not to do that. It was on a specific channel. I think it was on my review channel. And they asked me if I would not do that. And they said that they were heavier and they had struggled with their weight. And that when I did those things, like, even though she knew that I struggle with the same things, it felt like I was kind of like belittling the issue. And while I'm not somebody that's going to be like, oh, I got one email, so I'm going to change everything. I get a lot of emails of people suggesting things, and I don't listen to them. But I do think about them. I mean, I don't full-heartedly take them in and say, okay, I'm going to do this. But I do think about them, you know? For some reason, this one, like, stuck with me. And it really made me ask myself, like, why am I doing that? Like, is it me going back to the days of laughing at me being effeminate and stuff? Because if I laughed about it first, then I laughed about it before everybody else did, because that's not okay. Like, that's not okay for me to make myself the joke so that I don't have to be hurt by other people doing it. Like, the issue, if I really want to put that much work into it, then I need to put work in improving my physical health, right? So it's like, that is a painful topic for me, you know? I haven't talked about it on here in a while, because unless I'm going to do something about it, what's the point in talking about it? But my weight is a painful topic for me. I'm not proud of my weight. I'm not proud of my eating habits. If you listen to me, I'll say something like I have Burger King, and I know that's not healthy. But I don't beat myself up the way about it like I used to. Because I know in my head, until you're willing to do something about it, like, there's no point in beating yourself up. But then it's kind of like this flip side, because then it becomes this issue of acceptance. Like, well, then are you accepting it? Because that's not healthy either, right? Are you ever jealous of people that, like, their whole life, like, this just stuff seemed to just come so easy for them? Like, they never questioned what people thought of them. They never questioned, they didn't care what people, you know what I mean? Like, literally, there are so many people out there that just really don't care, genuinely don't care. It's like, you know, when people are like, I don't give a F what other people say about me. I care what people think about me. I do. I care what my husband thinks about me. I care what my best friend thinks about me. I care what some of my family thinks. I care what some of my close friends think. Not to the point where I would change myself for any of those people, but I do care, you know, like, that they're proud of me, or, you know, that they encourage me to do things that make me happy, and likewise, and stuff like that. But I've always been kind of like, jealousy is maybe a stretch, envious of people that it just seems to come so naturally for them, this self-love, you know? Whereas I feel like I've had to work on it, like, most of my life. That's okay. Maybe it means more to me now, I don't know. I think, to answer your question, I know I'm on limited time as it is on this earth, and I have a lot of ways I can spend that time. And I'm a very busy person as it is. I get a lot accomplished in a day because I like to do a lot. and I like to, you know, see how much I can get done, that I really like to beat myself up and to be my biggest bully, you know, so to speak, is like standing in the way of my having a successful, loving, and caring life. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm at a point in my life where I look back on like when I was growing up in school, and I think to myself, like sometimes the thing like when people say if I could go back I would change everything, I don't know what I would change. I do think I would stand up for myself a little bit more when I was in high school. Maybe not always. I mean, if I was being honest, I mean, I was rather scared of a lot of these people that made fun of me. They were physically a lot bigger than me. But I do think I would stand up for myself sometimes, because it wouldn't have made anything different. I probably would have come out too when I was in high school, because it wouldn't have made anything different either. I still would have got just as bullied and teased as I did before. But you know, like, I think even just standing up for myself a little bit back then would have set in motion this ability to love myself a little bit more. Because when I look back and I think about that, I don't look back and think about, like, I don't know if this will make sense, and this is kind of a counseling thing, like when you've been in counseling before, but like, I don't look back on that and think of like myself, like I don't see myself in my head being bullied. I see this kid that I know was me at one time, but it's not at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, I can see this like little kid sitting at the lunch table, you know, in first grade, and being so excited because it's tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches, and all of a sudden, you know, this little kid that, and maybe that's what this whole cozy thing is for me, that I've always just loved coziness, you know, and nesting and feeling safe at home, and this meal that my mom always made for me, or was it peanut butter sandwiches? I don't remember, but anyway, this meal that my mom always made for me, you know, that I was so excited about, I think it was peanut butter sandwiches and milk, turned into this worst day ever. You know, where this kid's like, don't drink the milk because it'll make you gay, because it was, you know, homogenous milk. It said homo on the box. And all the kids took it real serious, you know, and all of a sudden, I'm the joke. I'm the milk, you know? And everything changed for me. And I look back and I can see in my head, like, it makes me really sad for that kid, you know, that little kid in first grade that, you know, just wanted to have friends and just wanted to be liked, and just, you know, maybe wanted to be invited to a birthday party because I wasn't, and just wanted to be picked for a team because that never happened, and, you know, just wanted to feel included. And all of a sudden on that day, everything changed for me, you know, and I think when people say, God, it's been so long, it's almost been exactly 40 years, you know, when do you get over that? I think, well, you've never been through it then, because there are some things that will forever scar your heart. And that was just the beginning of a very long road, you know? So I think to some degree what happened was, when I started beating myself up, it was very much like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. But I don't believe that today. I don't believe I deserve that. I don't believe that little kid in first grade deserved that at all. And I'm not playing into that, you know, ridiculousness. And I believe that I deserve love today. You know, I believe the things that happened in my life happened to teach me something. I used to believe that things that happened in my life happened for a reason or a meaning. I believe some things do, but I think there's a lot of things in life that are so painful and don't make sense, and, you know, people are lost in certain ways, and, you know, kids die and all that kind of stuff, that I don't know that I think that those things happened for a reason. But can we find meaning out of them? Sure, I think that we can. Sometimes in the really horrible stuff, there's meaning that exists. Once we get past the pain, once we get past the hurt, we can find that, you know? But would I look back on my life and not have gone through all of that? Well, I mean, absolutely. And, you know, I sometimes wonder, you know, it's like, I did the best I could. I tolerated it. I became immune to it. I kind of like turned the other cheek because that was what I was taught by my parents. I didn't fight. People said horrible things to me. I took it. I just stood there. I honestly see that as strength in some ways. I didn't fight back. I didn't scream back. I didn't yell back. I don't know that I wish I did. I don't know how I feel about all that. But I will tell you one thing I wonder sometimes is, had none of that happened, had I been the kid that, because I was athletic, had I been the kid that played sports with everybody else, had I been the kid that had best friends and birthday parties and felt included and, all that kind of stuff, would my life look different today? Would I... other than tennis, would I have been a part of athletic teams? And, I had great friends in high school. I'm happy that the friends that I had. But we were all struggling to get by. We were all just doing our best. None of us had it easy. I think it's interesting, this whole idea of like being popular, when you're like in high school, and like if you're not popular, you're like, well, I never wanted to be popular. You say that, right? I think it's kind of a funny conversation, because it's like, I was so different. My friends and I were so different, like with how we dressed and the music we listened to and the places that we went and the movies that we watched. We were watching cult classic movies in high school and reading just really out there books, and we knew about artists. We were, my friends that were playing soccer weren't reading about Andy Warhol and the Factory and stuff. You know what I mean? We were just really like different and out there, like probably many of you were, I think like-minded people find each other over time. And, we were just a colorful group of people. And we were just like, as my, one friend referred to us, she was like, we were just like a gang of freaks that just learned how to survive together. And there was some truth to that, But I think like all of that happened because we didn't fit in. And so like, I liked folk music because I was raised on it. So I brought that in. And then my one friend, she was real exposed to like English music. So she brought the Smiths and the Cure and all that in. And then, it was like we all just kind of like brought these things together. But, and I would have said at that time, if you had asked me like, oh, you want to be popular? I would have said, I don't want to be popular. I don't fit in that group. F those people. Screw those people, challenge authority and all this kind of stuff. But the reality is, looking back, I wanted to be popular. I thought it was easier. I really did. I thought it looked like more fun. I thought it looked more acceptable. School didn't seem like a fight. Every day school seemed like a fight to me. It didn't just seem like, they all seemed like sellouts, don't get me wrong. They all seemed like sellouts that had no personality and no individuality whatsoever. And I still, to this day, although it's kind of mean, I hold to that truth a little bit today, but I was real different back then. You know what I mean? In just everything that I thought and did. I don't know, maybe I wasn't as different as I thought I was, but I'm pretty sure I was. But, I see pictures that people post on, our high school page and stuff, and it's, all these people just in, all these girls in, turtlenecks and, oversized hoodies, and every single boy in, a skin-tight polo shirt with, that haircut, that Larmoose haircut, where it was, real short with, the feathers on the side and front, and then in the back that it was kind of long, and some of them have the tail and stuff. It's and then they, pin-rolled their jeans up. It's everybody looked exactly the same. But I don't know, it looked easier or something, I always felt like Andy and, Pretty in Pink, I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I look at that and I think of it didn't just end there. When I went to college, I met the same kind of people, when I got sober. My friends today are still people that were with the exception of Tanya. Tanya was pretty popular in high school, actually. And But like my other friends are just like people that were very like that in I mean, like we talk about music and it's like we all listen to the same music in high school and stuff. You know, we were all just kind of very different. And so it's like all my life I've continued to find the same kind of people, you know, I guess. Not just with music, but with all kinds of things. And so I think it's interesting. I don't know. I don't think anybody I'm gonna take my hat off because my hat's hurting me. I don't think anybody wants to admit that they wanted to be something they weren't. I don't know, maybe I didn't want to be popular. Maybe I don't look back and think, okay, it'd be fun if I was popular. Maybe I'd like to try that shirt on for a while though, you know what I mean? Maybe I'd like to be popular. Give me a month and let me see what it was like. I'm gonna try this strawberry from Anthropology tonight. Let me be popular for a month and see what it was like, and let me try that on, and then I'll decide, you know? Do you ever have that girl that was like real different, and then like some popular guy, like they meet on like the summer or vacation or like spring break or something, and then like they hook up and they start dating? And even if they like stop dating like right away, like all the other guys like want her, and she goes from being kind of like nobody to being like really popular. Like, you know, like that movie, like they always put that in the movie, but like that is true. Like that happened at our high school. And I think about that and I was like, I always think like that's the girl that got to see the best of both worlds, you know? Like she got to see what it was like to be popular and she got to see what it was like to be not popular. Don't you think it's so weird that it's like 30 years I'm still talking about this stuff? It's like, I don't know. I think it really did, I think it really did affect me, you know? This stuff doesn't come out at all. I have so many things I have to do tomorrow. Will I get them done? I don't know. I think the question to ask yourself when you're beating yourself up, okay, and you're feeling that low self-worth, because the reality is we're doing it to ourselves in that moment, right? That is the truth. In that moment, maybe not in the past we didn't do it. Maybe when other people said things to us we didn't do it. But today, unless those people are still in our lives saying those things, we're the ones that are doing it to ourselves. So then the question we have to ask ourselves is, why am I doing it? Why would I do this when I can choose to lift myself up, you know? Why would I do this when I can make myself feel better? So in that moment, just try this. In that moment, and I'm gonna try it too, I'm gonna keep on doing it, because I have been doing it. Oh, my battery's dying. I've done this in the past, but I'm going to keep on trying to do it, is that in that moment that you're feeling like down on yourself or pushing yourself down, that's why I believe so much in positive affirmations, looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself those things that you want to be true. You know, I'm a good daughter, I'm a good son, I'm a good husband, I'm a good wife, I'm a good friend, all that kind of stuff. Say that and, you know, look in the mirror and say it to yourself. It's hard to do, especially in the ones you don't believe, trust me. But over time, you will believe it. And then when that tape starts running through your head, stop that negative tape and tell yourself, I'm not playing that tape. I am a good person. I am worthy of being loved. I deserve to be loved. And I'm not going to let that, you know, I'm not going to let that old tape run in my head. I'm going to stop it right now. And I'm going to go and I'm going to start telling myself good things. And it's going to take practice. Listen, if you're as old as me and you've been doing this for so long, it's not like it's going to change overnight. You know what I mean? But that's where I just started asking myself, do I want to spend the rest of my life beating myself up? No, I don't want to. So, like Josh Groban said, going back to the beginning of this video, you lift me up, or whatever he said. Anyway. All right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now, and I'm going to listen to my Stephanie Plum book. Put some questions in the comment section below. I kind of enjoyed doing that tonight. That was kind of fun, talking about self-worth and sharing some of those experiences. I like that. So, yeah, put some things down there. And if you made it to the very end of this vlog at 24 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh, this is the second part of it, so I guess it's 54 minutes and 29 seconds. Put a fruit emoji of your favorite fruit. Isn't that fun? Anyway, isn't that so fun? I love that. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing Monday, a great start to your week, an amazing beginning to February, an amazing start to February, and I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.